Hi, I'm Trisha. Thanks so much for joining me on this kind of special video that I wanted to make for you guys on the things that I have learned since buzzing my hair. If you're not familiar with the story, I've got a couple videos in case you're interested. One right here on the thought process and why I cut my hair the way I did, or what the thought process was that got me to that point. And another video, a short video here of how I actually cut it, in case you, again, are not familiar with it and you want to go watch that. Go ahead. Well, 9 things that I learned after buzzing my hair. Number 1 is I got rid of a weird irrational fear that I had since the 70s of having my hair forcefully cut. And the reason that came about, I was a teenager, and at the same time, there was a guy who would go to football games, baseball games where things were crowded, like in a stadium, and people are jostling next to each other and everything. And he would cut girls' ponytails. And sometimes, they wouldn't know it until somebody either pointed it out or they felt it themselves. And it was very traumatizing, obviously, to these girls. And thus, I was in an impressionable state in my growing up that it was kind of, devastating to me too, that somebody would do that. And so I had some weird irrational fear of having my hair cut out of my control. It was fun to go to salons sometimes if I was just going to buy something or to whatever. And I would see the hairdressers looking at me and like, oh, give me. They really wanted to get their hands on my hair. And I'm like, nope, 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 nope. So that was a big one, is because I made the buzz cut myself. And that was something also some people in the comments of my other videos were like, well, why don't you go to a salon and have them do it? And that wasn't the point. The point was I wanted to do it myself. And that helped me just reinforce that it's just hair. It's just hair. I was just so I'm going to say well known, because I'm not well known, but I was known for my hair. And so doing it was a very, very cathartic thing for me. All right. Anyway, back to reality. Here we go. I would also get very complimented by women on the street that, I don't know, that they would just stop and say how much they liked the style and that they wish they could do it. And I was very, very grateful for that. And my reply to them, obviously after thanking them for the compliment, was, you can do it yourself. You can do it. It doesn't belong to anybody else but you. So if you want to do it, guess what? It grows back. Another thing I learned is I would subconsciously just start rubbing my head like this. I would just rub it, especially when it was a lot shorter. When it was more in the, 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, I would rub it and it would feel so good. And of course, that's good for your scalp, to bring the blood flow up to your scalp, into the hair, to help it, when it does grow, to grow nice and healthy. So also, something that's a little weird, but maybe some dog lovers would appreciate this. If I'm laying on the sofa and my dog Trevor is laying near me, like on my shoulder or something, he would lick my head. It must have felt good. It must feel good on his tongue. So us dog lovers don't mind that. Other people, okay, I understand if you don't, but it's dog kisses, and dog kisses are all good. Another one, and this is not something that was a big deal, but I don't get hair headaches anymore. Duh. Not that I got them a lot, but I had hair headaches in the past if I was pulling my hair back in a ponytail that was too tight, or something else where maybe French braid. I don't know, French braid wouldn't be too tight, but anyway. If I was pulling it back too tight or whatever, I have had hair headaches that when you let your hair back down again, the headache goes away. And obviously I don't have those. So no more hair headaches. Now, I wanted to also mention a couple things that were not quite so positive, but still things I learned. Number 1 is also kind of obvious, and it piggybacks onto the one with the women giving me the compliments, is that the men were not. Were given, you would get, well, and it wasn't actually just men. It was both men and women who would give me disapproving looks. And I kind of I had learned earlier in my life to just tune those out because I would get the same looks because of the tattoos. And I just, as I said, I learned to tune that out. But if I'm not wearing, if I'm wearing like long sleeves or a coat or something where you don't see the tattoos, obviously this time the looks are for, I guess, my hair, because it wouldn't be for anything else. Some disappointing looks from some friends of mine that stung for a minute. But hey, they're allowed to have their opinions. It's honest reactions. So I know that I wasn't doing it for anyone else, that I was doing this for me. Same reason why I had the tattoos, is I did that for me. But it was just something I wanted to mention because yes, it did happen more than once, but it's okay. Like I said, it's okay. I also learned that while I like how it looks from the front, I don't like how it looks from the side quite as much. And I have a picture here. Just, I don't know if it's the slope of my nose or what. That now, when it's very, very short, it looks okay. But when it's longer short, it just, to me, did not look like I had hoped it was going to look, if that makes any sense. And also, piggybacking on that, is I also think it looks best. Well, this is just something I learned. This isn't necessarily a negative, but just something I learned. I think it looks better either very, very, very short, or when it was dyed the different colors that I would do, the wild colors, like, this one right here, or this one right here. I liked that a lot. And I think it looks best that way. I also think it looked good where I have it bleach blonde, because I would bleach it out before I would do those colors, to make the colors work best. And even though I'm not sure how I would look as a blonde, for some reason, I really like this picture of me. I think it looks good. I don't know. But the next to last that I learned from this process is I had no idea I had such a huge, huge bald spot. I knew I had some thinning there, because when it was longer, I'd put a barrette in it, and that's where I would put a barrette and I could see some skin showing through. But I had no idea that it was such a bald spot like it is. And here's a good picture of it. One of the things I did learn is that if it was very, very short, the 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch, it didn't show as much because the contrast wasn't there. But once it starts getting longer, like say where it is now, I'm at about somewhere between 1/3 and 1/2 of an inch, depending on where it is on my head. You really, really see it. And I just didn't realize I had such a huge bald spot. So that was one thing I learned. The last thing I learned was that I really, really miss my hair. I miss it. And I don't know if it's just because it was such a part of my identity for so long, but I really miss my hair. Which leads me to the other part of this video that I wanted to tell you, is that after 7 months of having it buzzed in different varying degrees, I am going to be growing it back. I know, please don't be disappointed. Don't be disappointed. But I want to grow it back. I want to see what's going to happen now with it. I've never grown it from this short before. I have cut it twice that I remember, because they were kind of, one was traumatic, one wasn't. But I cut it first in the 80s. And here's a picture of me in 1987. When I cut it, I had it waist length. I went to a salon for a procedure. It didn't work. And they ended up burning my hair. And so the best way to do it was to cut it off short and start over again. So that was the look there. The next time I cut it, from long was right here in 2006. And this is the one that I reference in my videos where I say that I haven't cut my hair in 17 years. That's what I looked like. I cut it in July of 2006 because I had a couple of reasons, but one was I was going to be going to Disney World in July. I was like, oh boy. And I, as you can tell in the picture, I was very overweight and I already knew I was not going to be comfortable in the heat. So I cut it thinking I would be cute. Not sure if that's what happened, but I cut it again in 2006. And it's the last time it was cut until May of 23, Memorial Day weekend, actually, of 23 is when I cut it. So the last time it was buzzed, and there's a video of it. I'm still getting my right and left on figuring this out with cameras. Right here, there's a video of it when I last had it buzzed by my boyfriend, actually, 5 weeks ago. Tomorrow, it'll be 5 weeks. And we buzzed it all the way back to the 16th of an inch like I had it originally back in May. And so this is what it looked like after we finished the buzzing. And I have not touched it since. And so that was the last week of November. And so now we're coming up into, as I said, about 5 weeks since. And this is how it's grown. I know it's hard to see sometimes. I'm trying to see. You may not be able to see the salt and pepper, but there's a lot of salt and pepper, which is perfectly fine with me because I'm waiting. Seriously, I would love it to be all salt and pepper, even a little more of the silver. That's what I'm wanting. I'm hoping it's going to grow back a little curlier because I see it being curlier, or curly. As you can tell, some things are going different directions already. And so I'm just very interested to see what the process will look like. Now, if I decide to buzz it tomorrow, yeah, I could. I might. I really don't think so, though. I think I want to see what's going to happen. And maybe I'll find myself a good short cut that I will like. One of the reasons that I kept it long and as long as I did for as long as I did is I did not want to be a slave to the, hair salons where every few weeks I got to go and get my hair cut again. I didn't want to have to spend that money to do that. I just didn't want to be a slave to it. Maybe now, if I can find something cute, I will try that. I know a lot of people have said, well, do a pixie cut. And I had to look up what that was because, again, I'm not a fashionista or somebody who really knows all the different hairstyles. But I believe, and I've seen pixie cuts on girls, and they're adorable. But it looks like the hair has to be straighter and thinner, so it just lays nice and cute. My hair doesn't lay. It does not lay unless it's got weight on it. So we're going to see, and I hope you're going to join me on this journey to see how it goes, because I'm going to be taking pictures and videos as it goes and see where it ends up next. So please join me on this journey. And all I can do is thank you so far for all of the nice comments. I know some people don't like it, and that's, again, perfectly fine. You can not like it. Just like this piece of art here, but that you see behind me, this is one of my paintings. Some people may not like that either. You know what? But that's okay. Some people do, and I do, and that's what counts. So, but other than the naysayers, which there always will be, I am thrilled at the response that these videos are having. Some people are really getting something out of these. And if you find that this channel has something of value to you, please subscribe. It does help this little channel grow, and I am trying to grow it to reach more people. And just thank you for participating and for joining me on this. And I look forward to the new year, and we'll see what shows up next. Thanks so much. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.